The iPhone 14 Pro has been available for more than 3 months. What new features were genuinely useful and which were just marketing ploys? Good day and welcome, my name is CEO Frimpong, also known as Frimps the CEO. Consider the iPhone 14 Pro while you're waiting or wondering whether to wait. This seemed like a great chance to perform a long-term evaluation of this equipment. As previously said, this phone has been on the market for around 3 months, so in this long-term review, I'll separate what was purely marketing hype from what has proven successful after using the phone on a daily basis for months. Isn't it true that the iPhone 14 Pro has a slew of additional features? This model is quicker, has a longer battery life, is cooler, and has crash detection.
A once-in-a-generation leap for the iPhone camera. The most advanced display in a smartphone. And, for the first time, iPhone can detect a crash and call for help.
I believe it runs a bit cooler, which has helped with issues like overheating when charging, especially in the car. However, 3 key features of the iPhone 14 Pro stick out to me. The dynamic island is one of the things I'd like to discuss. The always visible camera system. Let's go through each one in greater depth one by one. I've always admired Androids with always-on screens. I was ecstatic to see it on the iPhone 14. It took some getting used to when I first started using it with the iPhone 14 Pro. When I initially started using it, I kept thinking my phone's screen was on, so I hit the side button to turn it off, only to realize that it had already been turned off, which was a fantastic new feature. I appreciate keeping track of the time. I look forward to receiving new updates. I enjoy that I don't have to wake up my phone to receive incoming alerts and a few other things. It has also significantly reduced my phone usage because I am not picking up the phone to check my status constantly. That's even better for live events because you can see what's happening in real time. Current information like sports scores is shown on your lock screen. Aside from that, I admire Apple's ingenious design of the always-on display. For example, did you know that if you have an iPhone 14 Pro and an Apple Watch, the display on your iPhone shuts off as you walk away from it? It means you don't have your phone with you. An always-on display is not required. As a result, Apple turns it off, conserving battery life. I think this is an excellent use of synergy between Apple's own products, and I just returned to my iPhone. Since I was close to it again, the screen suddenly comes back on. It's such a great thing and I enjoy it. Apple has gone even further with enhancements to the always-on display, including the option to customize how notifications and messages, as well as your background photos, are shown. It's been amazing. The new always-on display is one of my favorite features of the iPhone 14 Pro, as is the improved camera system. To be honest, upgrading to a greater resolution and shifting to 48 megapixels was never a problem for me. However, after a few shots with my new iPhone 14 Pro, I see a significant improvement, particularly in low-light shooting. They are definitely crisper and sharper, and they can focus faster, which is really beneficial for action shots. As a result, I believe that the increased resolution count, as well as Apple's use of pixel binning to combine sensor data, had a significant influence on these low-light photographs. The second thing I've noticed about Apple's new camera system is that the scope selections are fantastic. So if you're still using the best lens, the magnification is increased by 5 times. Also, the main lens with digital or optical zoom is available. Then you have your telephoto lens, which provides 3 times the zoom. Apple, on the other hand, uses that primary lens, that 48 megapixel cropping in the center of 12 pixels, to give you a total resolution of 12 megapixels. Zoom 3 times at the optical level. Technically, you're losing some quality here because it doesn't employ pixel binning, and the pixels are smaller than they were on the 13 Pro at the time. It is, nevertheless, still pretty handy. It's fantastic to be able to zoom in 1, 2, or 3 times without seeing any apparent quality reduction. 1 and 2 are amazing, and 3 are fantastic. It appears to be amazing. It's a little change, but it comes in handy when using the camera. I'm always going between 1, 2, and 3 and changing the zoom levels more than I used to. I really appreciate having that extra middle ground for that, especially since it can be utilized with things like portrait shots and other such things. The island, on the other hand, is always evolving. This was an important new feature. It startled many people and began well, my enthusiasm for the function waned over time. This is because there was a lack of app compatibility after the initial wave of third-party apps. There has been a long time since no major apps have added support. For example, Apple didn't even integrate its own sports scores until iOS 16.2, and we didn't even have massive applications like Uber until recently, despite the fact that both Uber and Uber Eats enables live activities and dynamic islands. Having said that, there's still a lot I enjoy about the dynamic island, and it's still wonderful when it's in use. It's ideal for things like alarms. A phone call and an AirDrop file are received. Your AirPods have been connected. Your low battery status warning shows that they do not have to be displayed as models or banners from the top. It just expands out from the active island, provides directions for shrinking back down, making a phone call is simple, and I like how you can long hold it and drag it up to get more information. So when on the phone, you may access it and view everything without dialing. That type of stuff is excellent, and I think it's done well. I'd only wish more developers had used it sooner because it currently looks to be a little stagnant. Media playback is now another fantastic usage for Dynamic Island. Controlling media playback or managing your Apple TV while you're in the same room has been amazing. You can bring it up as a modal control, manage what's playing on your Apple TV, and then dismiss it without using the remote, the music app, or anything else. It's extremely lovely, and I like how the status updates, album artwork, and everything else display at the same time. You really outdid yourselves with the Dynamic Island's third-party Apple. Begin working. That brings my thoughts on the iPhone 14 Pro to a close. After almost 3 months, the phone is still fantastic, but it's only those 3 big aspects that have made this phone feel fresh to me when I use it every day. What are your opinions? Do you believe the phone as a whole has been a success? Do you have one in mind that you've been attempting to obtain? Please let me know in the comments or on Twitter at CEO Frimpong. Please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.